The night air sometimes carries sounds, not normal sounds. These are sounds of sorrow. They drift from places near water, rivers, lakes, even small streams. People say it is a woman crying, a woman looking for something she lost. This story is very old. It comes from Mexico and other parts of Latin America. Grandparents tell it to their grandchildren. They tell it so the children will be careful. They tell it so the children will remember. The legend speaks of La Llorona. This name means the weeping woman. Her story is a sad one. It is also a scary one. She is said to wander in the darkness, always near the water's edge. Her voice is a mournful wail, a sound that chills you to your bones. Some say she wears a long white dress. It flows around her like mist. Her face is often hidden by shadows or by her long dark hair. Why does she cry? Why does she search? The stories say she is looking for her children she can never find. Her grief is endless. It turned her into a restless spirit, doomed to walk the earth forever. People who live near rivers know her tale. They listen for her cries on windy nights. They tell their children to stay away from the water after dark. La Llorona might get you, they warn. This tale has been told for many, many years. It passes from one generation to the next. It is more than just a ghost story. It is a warning, a reminder of deep sadness. It teaches about choices and their terrible price. The wind carries her story. The water reflects her sorrow. La Llorona is a part of the night, a haunting whisper in the dark. She is a legend that lives on. Long ago, there was a woman named Maria. She lived in a small village. Maria was very beautiful. Everyone said so. She had long black hair. Her eyes were dark and shining. She fell in love with a handsome man. He was a wealthy ranchero, a nobleman. He promised her many things. He promised her a happy life. They got married. For a time, they were happy. Maria loved him very much. Maria and her husband had 2 children. 2 beautiful children. She loved them more than anything. She would sing to them. She would play with them by the river. Their laughter filled her days. But her husband began to change. He started to stay away from home. He spent time with other women. He seemed to forget about Maria. He even stopped paying attention to his own children. Maria's heart grew heavy with sadness. One day, her husband left for good. Or so it seemed. He returned later, but not for Maria. He was with another woman, a younger, richer woman. He spoke to his children, but he ignored Maria completely. He acted as if she was not there. Maria was filled with a terrible rage. A wild, blinding anger. It mixed with her deep pain. She could not think clearly. Her mind was a storm of hurt and fury. In her madness, Maria did something awful. Something she would regret forever. She took her children to the river, the place where they once played happily. And there, in her despair, she drowned them. When the terrible act was done, her sanity returned. She saw what she had done. She screamed in horror and guilt. She waded into the river to find them, but they were gone. She searched and searched, crying their names, but only the river answered with its cold silence. Leo was in middle school. He lived in a town with a small river, the Willow Creek. His abuela, his grandmother, told him stories, old stories from her childhood in Mexico. One evening, she told him about La Llorona. She cries for her children by the water, abuela said. Her voice was low and serious. Never go near the creek alone at night, Leo, especially if you hear a woman crying. Leo listened. He tried to act brave, but the story made him shiver a little. A few nights later, Leo was walking home. It was late. He had stayed at his friend Miguel's house. They were working on a school project. His path took him near Willow Creek. It was a shortcut. The moon was a pale sliver. Shadows danced under the trees. He remembered Abuela's words. Nonsense, he muttered to himself, just an old story. But his steps quickened. The air felt colder near the water. Then he heard it. A faint sound, like someone sobbing. Far away but clear. Leo stopped. His heart began to thump. Was it the wind or an animal? The sound came again. Closer this time. It was a woman's voice. A sound of deep, heartbreaking sadness. Ay, mis hijos. The cry seemed to float on the breeze. My children. Leo's blood ran cold. He thought of La Llorona, searching, weeping. He couldn't see anyone. The creek bank was dark and overgrown. Willow branches drooped like sad green hair. The crying continued. It seemed to be moving along the water, moving towards him. Leo didn't wait. He turned and ran. He ran faster than he ever had before. He didn't look back. He didn't stop until he reached his own front porch. He burst through the door, breathless. His abuela looked up, concerned. He could only gasp. The creek. A woman crying. Leo sat at the kitchen table. His abuela gave him a warm drink. His heart was still racing. He told her what he heard. Abuela listened patiently. She nodded her head slowly. "Perhaps it was just the wind, mijo," she said softly. "Or perhaps La Llorona wanted to remind you she is near." She didn't say if she believed him or not, but her eyes held a knowing look. A look that said some stories are real. Leo didn't sleep well that night. The sound of crying echoed in his mind. Was it truly La Llorona, or had his imagination, fueled by Abuela's story, played tricks on him? He wasn't sure, but he knew one thing. He would not take the shortcut by Willow Creek at night anymore. The experience, real or imagined, had scared him. It made the legend feel very, very real. It was no longer just a story. It was a shiver down his spine. The next day, Leo thought more about La Llorona. He thought about Maria, her terrible sadness, her awful mistake. The story wasn't just meant to scare children. Abuela had told him that. It was a cautionary tale. It warned about letting anger and jealousy control you. It spoke of the terrible consequences of rash actions, actions born from pain. It was a story about grief that never ends, a sorrow so deep it stains the world. Leo understood why the legend was important. It was a way to remember, a way to teach. It reminded people to cherish their families, to think before they act, and to respect the mysteries of the night. La Llorona's cry was a warning, a sad, wailing warning that echoed through generations. It reminded everyone that some sorrows are too deep to fade away, and some stories, however old, still have power, the power to make you listen, the power to make you think.